Nasty. Nasty.
They were called Nasties, and they were nasty.
Some of the things that we've seen are so horrific.
These films not only affect young people, but I believe they affect adults as well.
An extravaganza of gory violence capable of depraving and corrupting those who watched it.
I have never seen a video nasty. I wouldn't. I actually don't need to see what I know is in that film.
And welcome back, ladies and gents. This is another episode of Doing the Nasty Podcast. This is season number 2, episode number, and I just said it, 26. I said it before I hit the button, and then I hit the button. Joining me on this episode, as always, is my long-suffering co-host, and we're going to get into some stuff. Not that I can make judgment or make calls on a certain Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that has just come out, because I've not seen it yet, but I think that I've made him watch movies that are so terrible now that he's come out of that screening thinking that movie was good. Like I say, I can't make a judgment on it. I've yet to see it, but I think I've lowered the bar so low now that basically anything now passes as a competent movie. Mark Ball, you're joining me, sir. How's it going?
It's going good. That was quite the intro. And there's to be fair, there is some suffering in the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that just came out. But I guess just doing this show for a while has just made me, at least at certain times, just embrace the suffering and just go along with the ride. And if the movie doesn't make me want to hang myself, that's a big accomplishment. Sometimes.
Yeah, so it's a tick and a win, and we'll take that, and we will take it. I am watching it, I think, this week, and I'm, if it wasn't for a podcast, I probably wouldn't do it. Joining us on this episode, though, we have a very special guest. We've kind of teased this one out a little bit over the last few episodes. Concurrent to us doing this series, he's been making his own way through it. It's actually concluded it, so part of me is immensely jealous that he has no more to watch. However, he has been very active on the Facebook group page, has furnished us with the 2 movies we're watching tonight, which is great because the only dub I could find of Firecracker was in a foreign language, and that foreign language didn't make me want to watch the movie any more than watching the movie. I'm keeping my cards close to my chest on this one. Joining us is the phenomenally talented Tony Case. How's it going?
Hola, bicholas. Hey, we've been talking about getting on the show for fucking ever.
Yes.
And here it is, finally. So I'm excited to be here.
We're going to get into this one because, Mark informed me, because Mark is my conduit to the people. He's basically like the lawyer spokesperson that gets sent out in the front steps of the court to say, we understand you have concerns. We're taking them on board. A spokesperson, a spokesperson for Video Nasty at doing the Nasty Podcast. What we're telling you is, but Mark said, Tony specifically said when we cover one of the movies that we're doing on this particular episode, he wanted to be on this episode. That movie would be
G.B.H.
G.B.H.
Otherwise known as grievous bodily harm.
Yes, which you can is a convictable offence over here. You can be convicted for grievous bodily harm or G.B.H. in the UK. It's it generally means you've hit someone hard, but haven't killed them, which is a win.
And then, of course, the bonus of I like the other movie too. So I'm in. When you said, "Oh, we're doing Firecracker 2," it's like, "Oh, fuck yeah, I'm down with that." Both these movies are great. So, and I've just really tipped my hand.
Luck of the draw. I've said this before. Sometimes the movies land in weird situations where I think we ended up doing. We've done movies that parallel particular seasons really, really well as we've worked through this, and then other ones that just don't make no sense, no rhyme, no reason why they're lumped together, except I created a list, and then I muddled them all up, and I muddled them all up again, then muddled them all up again, and then put them through a sorter, and then assigned a number, and then sorted them, and then reversed them and chopped it in half, and then pieced it together. So it is well and truly shuffled, to use the card parlance, I don't know.
So clearly the fates decreed me to, this is going to be my episode to shine.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it. Before we get into that, as always, we like to catch up. Nothing has happened in the world. I want to at the start. It's like the start of these episodes are like weird, like time capsule milestones for the inevitable decline of humanity. So with that great positive intro, Mark, what have you been up to, buddy, since I last spoke to you a month ago?
Watching a lot of movies to distract from watching the world fucking burn all around us. I got to show some people Massacre Mafia style for the first time last night.
Oh, how'd that go over?
They loved it. They were like, that actually was like a pretty good movie. I'm like, yeah, it's a bad movie, but it's a good bad movie. And yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. Yeah, watch that new Texas Chainsaw movie. It's it's something. I saw it too, and I didn't necessarily. What did I say when I pinged you about it? Because I had to go eat crow. That once you get past the first 5 minutes, it's actually not terrible. I didn't hate watch it.
I was just talking about this with Bo in an earlier recording. If we're talking about the big four, there's a reason. Like everyone's like, oh, you forgive Jason for everything. You forgive Jason for everything. Like the Friday the 13th movies, none of them, maybe out with Part 4, are exceptional movies. They're all relatively entertaining average slasher movies, but they maintained that relatively entertaining slasher thing right through the series, give or take maybe 1 or 2 installments. Every other one of those big four franchises, the diminishing returns are colossally diminishing on each one. And I think I would put, the weird thing I was trying to think about, if I was like ordering them up, how would I order them? And much to my surprise, Halloween is still at the bottom. That is a hot trash fucking series. Honestly,
once you get past part 3, the just movie or the
it's
series,
like, what's the
just
point?
Like,
why am I still here? I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just above that, actually. I was thinking about this. I obviously adore the first movie. Have a lot of time for that second movie just because it's so much cocaine fueled bonkers. And the third movie, the older I get, the more I appreciate it was trying to do something. I don't think it's necessarily successful in what it's doing. I mean, I will watch Part 4 purely because Matthew McConaughey's hilarious in it. And then I really would not thank you for any of the other ones that come after it at all. Like, I think they're all various shades of missing the point and bad. Yeah. And at that point, it's like, well, what am I doing here? You know, like, is that level where I was thinking even a Friday the 13th is always going to be top. Like, even a Nightmare on Elm Street, and I fucking hate a lot of those Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm not a big fan of that first one. Mark has heard about it. He chops his fingers off and googly arms.
The long arms.
Googly arms for no reason. It's a terrible effect. So they're absolutely a horrible, silly effect, and the ending's shitty and all the rest. But as a concept, it's kind of fucking amazing. And then I can get through that. That second one, I think, is better than the first one, and a lot of people don't disagree with that. That third one is just great. It's just a hands-down great movie. And at least with Wes Craven's New Nightmare, we come back and we try something different, and it's really ballsy and all the rest. So there's 4 movies in that franchise that I'm like, yeah, I would happily sit down and watch those ones again. And I want 2? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I kind of like the concepts of the third one, and I like a character in the fourth one. So, I mean, what are we doing here, people? Get in the bin. That's what I'm saying. So, you did go back and watch it, though, Tony.
Yeah, I did. I got the first 15 minutes at the gas station. I'm like, I can't do this. And then, like, a couple of days ago, I just smoked a ton of weed and just like... And like, okay, now I can just absorb the movie and just go. It's not terrible. It's not great. It just kind of washed over me. And if you ask me now to describe the plot, I'm like, Leatherface kills some guys with a chainsaw, I think. And that's about all I can do.
I think I know the answer to this, and I think it's one of the reasons I'm going to dislike the movie severely. Is there a scene in it where someone says, "Do your thing, cuz"?
Oh, no.
No.
Get in the bin then. Get it in the
There's
bin, then.
almost equally cringy lines in there for sure.
In the bin. If there's no do your thing, cuz is it even worth watching? I described that. I saw that in the cinema in 3D, and that was the greatest 3D effect I've ever seen in cinema, because a realistic foot came out of the cinema screen and kicked me in the testicles. And I felt every single punt of that right through. I was like, yeah, this movie really fucking hates me. Yeah, so you've been watching a lot of movies, Mark.
Yeah, after I got done with that Texas Chainsaw one, I went back and watched some other, later entry slasher movies. I was like, I went on a kick of like stuff that I don't watch very often. Mm-hmm. So I also did the 2009 Friday the 13th, which I still think is it's 2/3 a big piece of shit.
Yeah, that opening 20 minutes is the movie that we all wanted and should have got, and for some reason they decide to tag on a whole other movie, which is more people come into Crystal Lake. Yay!
Yeah, a whole bunch of
run around in the tunnels underground under.
Oh yeah.
Those tunnels.
That part sucks real bad. Yeah, I strongly dislike about 2/3 of that movie. Yeah. I also I went back and did Leatherface Texas Chainsaw 3. Which the R-rated cut of that one, because that one came late enough that the MPAA was starting to be like, nope, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yep. The R-rated version of that movie kind of fucking sucks and feels really disjointed, and there's parts where you can't tell what the hell is supposed to be going on. But the unrated cut of that they put out not too long ago, I think is pretty all right. You get a pretty great Ken Faree's great in it.
He's great in it.
Viggo Mortensen's pretty great in it. Like all the rest of the cast, I think, is like pretty solid. It's Leatherface that's kind of weak. He doesn't really do a whole lot, but
yeah, I think they were trying to go for something. They were really trying to lean into the kind of handicap of the character, which I kind of like I say, as a concept, I think is a really interesting idea. Something you don't get with kind of slasher killers is that idea of a kind of handicap that is impaired in them, which is causing the thing that they're doing, and really examine that. So as a concept, it's brilliant, but they do fuck all with it, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think that was about it. I'm pretty sure I watched a couple other things, but probably by the time this comes out, hopefully it'll be announced. I'm playing some live music next month.
Oh yeah.
Fucking terrifying.
That's fine.
We're working on some music. It's gonna be like a pretty low key thing. If like 10 people show up, I'll be surprised. But I might be playing my first show here pretty quick after this is coming out. So I've been frantically trying to get my computer up and running and writing some new music and fiddling around on the keyboard a little bit. So I'll probably have some new music out here pretty soon on like Bandcamp or something. Nice. So I'll talk about that more on the next episode. Probably we'll see what happens.
Very cool. We'll break a leg.
Yes. Not physically, unless you want to.
The way that this year's going, sure. What the hell?
Yeah, if it gets you more likes.
Yep. Well, and I could always just sit down for the show, do the Dave Grohl thing.
Yes.
Finish my leg in a fucking cast.
Mm-hmm. Tony, what about yourself?
God, what the hell have I been doing recently? Well, aside from fixing my goddamn YouTube channel.
We should probably get into this. So you were like, I kind of feel on some level there was there's a conspiracy out there. You were about to post your very final video.
Oh my, yeah, I was the fucking finish line.
Yeah.
So after we did the first two lists, the prosecuted and the non-prosecuted, then we did the Section 3 list. And then we did a kind of a supplemental where it was like stuff like Clockwork Orange, where Kubrick pulled it from distribution. We were down to the big red one, which was nailed because they thought it was porno.
Yeah.
The last fucking episode. And then YouTube just said, you posted pornography, you posted boobies, we're killing your channel. And the bitch of it is that when I appealed the decision, they said, hey, we agree with you. Fine, we'll give you your channel back. And they just never did.
Yeah.
So I have to go through 150, 200 episodes and scrub out every instance of like boobies. So that's a real pain in the ass.
I think you should, instead of taking them out, you should replace them with the image of a calculator turned upside down saying boobless.
There you go. Right now, I have a giant black censor bar that just says the word censor. So I am absolutely playing it up like you wouldn't believe. And the crazy thing is, so when I had the original channel and almost all done, and the ratio of age gating that YouTube would do automatically, about half of the episodes would be, nope, this is content restricted. We're going to make it age gated. Now, without the boobs, but all the violence, I have not touched a single drop of blood.
Fine with that.
And it is, none of them get age gated. It's like fucking double standards.
It's not that far off why the videos and the video nasties were actually banned in the first place.
Exactly. And now I'm smart enough to say, okay, this isn't government censorship. I know that it's not First Amendment and all that other bullshit, but this is corporate censorship, and that pisses me off just as bad.
Yeah, and like needless corporate censorship. They're in those movies.
Yeah,
it's not as if it's not as if you went out and actually physically filmed people taking their tops off. It's actually in the movies, and it's in context of what you're discussing. So it's for review purposes, which should I don't know.
No, it's absolutely within YouTube guidelines of that. Hey, if it's educational, if it's a discussion, we're good with it. But oh well.
And also, what is the point of having age-restricted videos if you can't release videos that are intended for people over 18 that can have that sort of thing? Like it should be like that's what they should have done, is just fucking age restricted all your videos, which they might have already been, rather than nuking the whole fucking channel. It's just like I understand why they don't want certain videos to be viewed by children, but I don't understand why they have an 18 plus option if they're not gonna fucking use it.
Exactly. And there's no granularity to it all. So they went right to the nuclear option. They didn't just delete the one offending video, which I think was the toy box. Which is a little racy. We had some boobies in that one.
Yeah.
Just take that one video down, and then leave the rest. But no, fucking YouTube.
Oh well, you have you've kind of set up a new channel.
Yes, we're calling it Psycho Toaster Productions, which was when I was in not high school, in college, when I took video production, my video channel, or my, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Production company. That's it.
So what we'll do is we'll include links to that in the show notes, and we encourage everyone to go across and check them out. And then, like Mark does, Mark tells me like once we've done the reviews and stuff, he goes back, checks your videos to see how wrong we were and how much stuff we've missed out, which is usually quite a lot. And we're always well out. So for me, I mean, time is a flat circle. Life goes on. I don't even know. It does not feel like a month since we recorded last, Mark. And truth be told, the day that we record this is the day that this episode is going out to keep us on track, because that's what I do. But yeah, I don't even think I've done anything like hugely exciting at all, or watched anything of. I've watched plenty of movies, but I don't know if they're like nasty worthy. So what we'll do is we will put a pin in this conversation and take it to the heart of the matter, what the people have tuned in for, and that's a discussion on 2 movies on this episode. Bringing in for episode 26, ladies and gents, for your listening pleasure, we will be covering G.B.H. from I believe it's 1980, but for some reason, gotta love IMDb, it's like, well, it came out in your country in 83, and I'm like, that's great, but when did it actually get made? I think it was made in 1980, but it says 1983 on my page, so fuck it. And Naked Fist, aka Firecracker. Ooh.
Roger Corman.
Yes, Roger Corman. Roger Corman financed movie with the chick that dated Fonzie in the show Happy Days, which I saw her boobies. I saw her boobies in this movie, which I found out in the trivia for this movie was something that Corman said he wanted added to the movie. So there was no boob scene, and Corman was like, show me the boobies! And they put them right in there, along with one of the least convincing sex scenes I've seen in a movie and
The most hilarious sex scene.
Oh yeah,
One of the weirdest, maybe.
Yeah, it's when they, like, generally you know those like if you watch like Naked Gun and stuff when they're undressed and it's like the guns falling, or you know, like he's taking off all the weapons and all the rest. And this one we just take out a variety of sharp implements to remove one item of clothing at a time. And we go. I've never seen boobs released with a scythe before, so that was a first. That was a first. So try that.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, it's where we're going first, Mark, and that's why I was setting up. Our first movie of discussion on this episode will be Naked Fist, aka Firecracker from 1981. As always on this show, we will take a short break, and you're going to hear people from the Video Nasty documentary who will give you an introduction as to a bit of information on the movie and why they think it was potentially banned. When we return after the trailer for the movie, myself, Tony, Mark will be sitting down, getting down and dirty with some Firecracker, aka Naked Fist, right after this.
Here we have Naked Fist by Sergio Santiago. It's also known as Firecracker. It was made back in 1981. The box art features the American one-sheet poster as released by Manson International, and most of this company's other releases also just used the posters. It's basically a remake of Santiago's earlier TNT Jackson, a blaxploitation movie, but this time round there's no blaxploitation, a lot of action and more nudity and stuff. Here we get Julian Kessner, who you might recognise from Raw Force, who plays Susan Carter, a 6-dan black belt karate champion and martial arts teacher, who heads to the Philippines to track down her missing reporter sister. After a bar fight, she gets a few locals on her side, including bartender Pete.
Hey, you're okay.
And a kung fu expert called Ray. With their help, she finds her sister's camera, and when she gets the film developed, she finds pictures of a local hoodlum called Chuck Donner, who works at a place called The Arena, which is a vicious martial arts fighting club. It turns out that her sister was doing a story on the place. The club is owned by Eric, another bruiser, and in order to gain his trust, she has to prove her fighting ability by getting up on stage and fighting their local champ. Strangely, Susan finds herself in an ongoing fling with Chuck. From then on, she encounters numerous thugs and must literally fight for her life in order to discover the reason for her sister's disappearance. If you like trashy movies, then this one really is well worth tracking down. It's a lot of fun. There's a hilarious fight scene where our heroine is sort of chased through all these alleyways and this factory, and she loses bits of clothing on the way. She ends up in a pair of skinny knickers after losing her bra with a knife. This was one of the additional scenes Corman had shot by a guy called Alan Holzman, and it's a standout moment. Holzman, of course, went on to direct the science fiction movie Forbidden World. Oh, if you recognise the soundtrack from somewhere, it's probably because it was also used in Shogun Assassin. I reckon it was probably put on the Section 3 list for the scene where her clothes are cut off with a knife, because you could probably say it's sexual violence of some sort. That's the only thing I could see in it that would probably have the powers that be, worrying a bit.
Firecracker. See Gillian Kessner, grand prize winner at the Black Belt Olympics. She'll mix seduction with destruction in the screen's first erotic kung fu classic.
And welcome back, ladies and gents. So, you've just heard the trailer for Firecracker, aka Naked Fist, from 1981. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. This one is directed by... nice. Cheerios? H. Santiago. What about C.H. Santiago? That sounds good. Let's go with that.
It's not an episode unless Duncan stumbles over the name.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of this because this filmed in Taiwan, I believe. It's based on the story by Ken Metcalf, the director, and Alan Holzman, who came to do the additional scenes, probably on the orders of one Roger Corman. The movie stars Gillian Kessner, Darby Hinton, Ray Malonzo, Ken Metcalf is in this movie, Pete Cooper, Don Gordon Bell, Carolyn Smith, Chanda Romero, no relation to Georgie. We have Tony Ferreira, Vic Diaz, Omar Kamar. I wanted to say that this guy's name was Ruben Superman, but it's not. It's Ruba Superman. Stop laughing, Mark. And some other folk are in this movie. Synopsis for this one is listed on the IMDb's as femme fatale martial arts expert teaches the mafia a lesson. Which, I mean, is in a nutshell
Essentially it, yeah.
They're sort of the mafia. They're more like a drug running ring, basically.
They're the mafia, Mark.
When I hear mafia, I think of Italians. All right, they call me racist, but that's what I think of.
They're the mafia, Mark. They're the Taiwanese Cosa Nostra, right? You just have to deal with it. I'll take the charge on this one. I'm then going to swing it over to Tony and then swing it to Mark to clear up on the back end here. This was a first time watch for me. I had never heard of this movie before. Turns out Roger Corman not only produced this one, but he took a little flurry. I'm not sure if it was for tax reasons, into financing several movies from Taiwan, all in a similar theme. And that similar theme was bit of titillation, bit of martial arts, easy to make, short run time, Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. And to be honest, that's kind of what you get here. The biggest thing that I can say as a plus point to this movie, out with the fact that I did laugh a lot while watching it, is its runtime. This movie gets in, gets done, and gets out fast. There is really the only two scenes that have any sort of drag on them involve lovemaking, which go on a bit too long, or some kind of scenery perusal, which once again, if you're in this part of the world and you've got a camera, take your time and film it, because you're getting scenery that you would not be able to recreate on a Hollywood lot with any amount of ease. So yeah, I mean that's there. First and foremost, the story is about as cliched as anything you've ever seen before. It's pretty much every martial arts action movie ever. It's been done to death. In the case of this one, our main heroine here, who is played by the aforementioned, and I just clicked the button, so I lost how you pronounce her surname. Anyone?
Kessner?
Kessner, that's it.
Kessner, yeah.
Gillian Kessner. She is a martial arts instructor from Los Angeles who has a sister who is over in this. Well, we never found out why, but she's over rubbing shoulders and boobies, most likely, with people in the mafia who are holding some underground fight ring. It's basically blood sport, right? In fact, like one of my first observations where she meets the guy that owns the bar was this guy looks like the guy that breaks bricks over his head from Bloodsport. Is this movie has Bloodsport just ripped off this movie?
It's also Mortal Kombat. It's also Enter the Dragon. It's also
it's all of them. So many kung fu flicks.
Yeah, it's all of them.
Master of the Flying Guillotine is exactly like this.
It's all of them, and the martial arts is not as good as any of them. But it kind of adds to its charm. So anyway, she comes over because at the beginning we see the white man, because it's a Hollywood movie, the white man beat up some Asians using their own techniques as a badass killer. And whilst this is happening, a woman is abducted. Turns out her sister is this badass Gillian Kessner woman who comes across, embeds herself in the scenery and the scene, basically ingratiating herself to the players in the mafia to infiltrate the mafia? ? And find out what happens to her sister. And in the kind of background of that, she's also there to learn the final elusive martial arts technique that will make her the deadliest killer of all time, which I think involves poking someone with a stick. That's certainly what I took away from it.
Yeah, it does.
I was like, okay. And it does pay off. This is Chekhov's hidden secret maneuver. It does pay off at the end. But yeah, so she does this. Meanwhile, there's a police investigation. The police don't want her getting too involved. There's like friendly natives who also want to try and bring down the fighting troop, and that's in the background. There's a master who's teaching students on a hill, and there's her herself, who is maybe falling for the lead killing machine of the enemy, which you would think of until the final scene, where this guy about 5 times says, I don't want to hurt you, and then she beats the shit out of him, and he's like, please don't make me hurt you, and then she hits him again with sticks, and he's like, please, I don't want to do this, and then she takes his fucking eyes. So yeah, I mean, it's poorly scripted, it's terribly acted, the choreography is fucking hilarious, and we only had 3 sound effects for someone being hit, and we used them a lot. Like Mark,
which is 2 more than G.B.H. though.
Yes, oh yeah, it has 1 sound. But I like to think that when Mark does his gig, he's going to have all these different sound pads and all the rest, and he's just going to have 3 with kung fu noises, which he's just going to play in the middle of the song. Yeah, like he's literally going to just use those in the middle of songs. Plus points for this one. Like I say, its runtime is super quick. Its soundtrack sounds like arcade music, which did make me smile. There's plenty of fight scenes. None of them are good, but they land almost every 5 minutes. There's a fight scene, which you want in a movie that is kind of lacking in everything else. The dialogue is fucking horrific, like absolutely horrific, and I love how serious everyone is when they're saying their lines. It adds to it. It just really, really does. But for the most part, it's got beautiful scenery. It's shot well. I mean, this one is like, they speed up the action for obvious reasons. But it's shot competent, and it's shot well, and it doesn't look like a cheap movie. It's just the cheapness comes in, and the fact that no one here feels like a fully trained martial artist, and the ones that are carrying the fucking fight scenes on their back. And like I say, the dialogue itself is what we would class in Scotland as being pretty honking, so it's not nice at all. But I would be lying if I didn't say I was entertained from start to finish in this movie. Like, all the way through it, I was kind of clapping, I was kind of cheering along. I wanted things to get ludicrous. They got ludicrous. I wanted her top to come off. Her top came off. Even when they tease a couple of times where she's fighting in underwear, and I was like, don't do this to me. And then that came off, and I was like, yes, movie. Roger Corman. I fucking love Roger Corman. Like, I really do. I can't stress my love for him. It's his notes. There needs to be boobs in this movie. Yes, Roger Corman, there needs to be boobs in this movie. And this feminist story, there needs to be boobs in this movie. I agree with you. High five. And yeah, like I say, you've seen this movie before. I guarantee you've not this particular movie, but you've seen about 25 iterations of this movie before.
Well, it's essentially the big boss when you get right down to it.
100%. And there's something familiar about that kind of makes it very easy to watch. Like, this movie was not a chore at all to sit through. I clapped, I smiled, I laughed far too much, and just some of the cringe, like pure cringe in this movie. But by the end of it, when it finished, and the most ludicrous ending that it could have had, the mafia's been taken down, her lover's eyes have been crushed with this special technique she's got. Cue the arcade music. I was like, yeah, let's do that again. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I thought it was going to be. It delivered exactly what I thought it was going to be from the description and from the poster artwork. I will say this: I know that the lead star here, or Gillian Kesner, was not formally trained in the martial arts, and I'm going to say it shows. Our spinning back kick is very low, and doesn't look like it has much velocity behind it, so she's not really doing much with that. But that critique aside, I thought it was fun. It was dumb, it was fun, it was entertaining, and it didn't make me hate myself watching it.
That's an accomplishment.
Which is a bonus over some of the episodes we've recorded thus far. Tony, you're a big fan of this movie. You said so at the start. Let us know. Like, this was a revisit after a revisit. What? Let us know here. Like, was this one that you'd seen back in the day, or was this a first-time watch when you covered it for the first time?
This was the first time watch when we covered it. So I saw it a couple of months ago, and then I watched it again just recently. So this is my second showing.
Nice.
I am completely on board with you. This is an absolutely terrible movie. This is but it is such fun. I am firmly in the John Waters school of thinking, where there is no such thing as a bad movie, just a boring one. And this one is not boring at all. It doesn't have aspirations to be this big, it knows what it wants to do. It absolutely stays in its lane, where it's, a fuck ton of kung fu and a light sprinkling of titties.
Yes.
So, I love my Shaw Brothers. I love my Jackie Chans. So, this will never replace them. But if I just want something dumb and fun, absolutely going for this.
And quick.
Never,
yes. Never undersell. Like I said to Mark when I was announcing what the two movies were in the last recording, I was like, neither one of these movies has a runtime over an hour and 20 minutes. That's a win.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, yes, I am totally on board with this movie.
In terms of, so on the revisit, though, because one of the things that I felt personally when it finished was, I can see myself watching this again this year.
Oh, if this was on Blu-ray, I would totally buy it in a hot second.
I think it might be. I think I read somewhere that Shout Factory may have either put out or they're about to put out. So.
Oh. Well, I'm totally getting then. I will absolutely buy this fucking thing.
There we go. It hasn't been released over here, and nor do I think it ever will be, just because I know what the UK is like. But some weird fact stuff, like I say, behind it. Like the Corman connection is interesting because it's not something you would generally consider as an oeuvre that Corman himself would be interested in doing.
Yeah, not really in his wheelhouse, but I mean, he chases, it's like, hey, Star Wars is big, fine, fuck it, let's make 3 Star Wars movies and go. Yeah. So I could totally see in the 80s when Kung Fu was kind of getting big and Enter the Dragon had just dropped and was getting big.
Yeah.
Roger's like, give me some Kung Fu. What do we got?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's the thing, is they used, as if this is a fact that, no one else used, they used the same location, planner as Apocalypse Now, but I think anyone that shot in Thailand at this time used that guy because he was the guy you went to that showed you where you could film and not die. So a bit of a link in there as well. Mark Ball, you had you have a firecracker tattoo as a tramp stamp on your lower back that no one knows about except me, and I saw it and no one can ask me how I saw it. You sat down and watched this movie for the first time. Oh, by the way, it's on a collection called Lethal Ladies by Shout
but that's
Factory.
Only DVD.
Only on DVD. All right, so no Blu-ray.
Yeah, this is in the States you can watch this on Tubi. I don't know. I didn't watch that version, so I don't know how complete it is. We've run into a couple times where Tubi has the edited versions of some of these movies, like Mad Fox's is a shortened version.
You got cheated so much in that movie.
Yeah. But I went back and bought there's a DVD of that one also that you can get that's uncut that I showed to my same friends a couple weeks ago, and got all the uncut dick glory of that movie.
So much penis.
But Firecracker, right out the gate, the first thing I noticed is this movie lifted a bunch of music from Shogun Assassin, or maybe vice versa. Like the main theme right out the gate is the exact same main theme right out the gate as fucking Shogun Assassin.
And that did my head in so much because I love Shogun Assassin and I've seen that movie like dozens of times. And so when there's this intimate sex scene and they're using Daigo's theme, the child from Lone Wolf and Cub, I'm like, okay, this is not right.
It's a little weird. but yeah, I hadn't. I think I'd heard of this. I saw a documentary about kung fu movies at Fantastic Fest a couple of years ago that was like pretty long and got into a lot of this. And I remembered a little bit of a chapter about like trying to have more women as like leads in martial arts movies for a brief period of time. Like
that Cynthia Rothrock became the kind of poster for that in the mid-80s. She was the female Chuck Norris, but before that I think they tried various different iterations to try and get, and whenever it was done, like see if you look at kind of blaxploitation movies, there's always an element of kung fu in there, even by the the badass chicks, your Pam Greers and all the rest, but it's never explicitly that they trained at a dojo or were like a six dan black belt master or anything like that. It's just they happen to be jive and know how to throw a wicked axe kick. So yeah, like in the case of this one, there's like a conscientious push, but it never really ever took hold. And like I say, even Cynthia Rothrock wasn't as big a star as she probably should have been, considering all the shit she could do. So
yeah, her whole thing fizzled out pretty quick. And yeah, they try really hard with Pippi Longstocking or whoever the fuck the chick is in this one. She's she has a face and a haircut kind of like Alicia Silverstone in Clueless. So for some reason, what I was thinking a lot of, but I actually think the fight choreography in this is pretty good. I mean, I think it's shot badly at times. Like there's times where you can tell they maybe did one or two takes of this and just shot it from like a couple static cameras, and it looks a little lazy, but the choreography itself, I think, is like pretty fun. And
there's a scene where that guy I was mentioning, it looks like he's from Bloodsport. It's in the fight in the bar, which happens at the start for no fucking reason at all. It's never really explained.
No reason at all.
Yeah, but the camera pins round, and he's clearly about like 3 foot taller than anyone else in there, and he actually physically grabs a guy and pushes him along the bar like it's a western.
I was watching that.
Going, what the fuck are we doing here?
That should have been in the foreground. There's great shit going on in the background of that. Yeah, it's just one long choreographed take of people just beating each other's asses for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, Gillian Kessner here looks like Melissa George from PCs. She does look like there's a bit where she's going, bastard!
Yep.
She does like about 4 or 5 times I was like, do it. Say the line.
The problem that I had with the problem that I had with the choreography was that growing up on like the Jackie Chans and stuff, and they're in this warehouse and they've got all these ladders and boxes and nets and all this crazy shit, and I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna go crazy, they're gonna use it. Never touch it at all.
No. It's still a static. That's why when I said it reminded me of an arcade game. Like, it's an arcade game from the 80s where you've got to, like, nowadays if you're playing a fighter game, everything's like you can fuck people through walls, like everything's a weapon. But back in the day it was like background, foreground. Only foreground characters can do things and everything else can't be touched. And it did feel like even the scene where they did with the moustache, who, by the way, fucking what a moustache. They did with the moustache. He's fighting those guys at the beginning. He's standing in front of what is supposed to be 3 martial arts masters who all have different weapons, and I'm like, all these weapons are cool as fuck, but only one of them gets used. And then they do the same at the end where they're standing with like 3 different, and I'm like, use all the weapons. No, and they don't do that. Only one weapon for you, Duncan, and this is clearly foam spear, which we're kind of wave in front of him. How'd you get on with the dialogue, Mark?
It's dubbed like pieces, kind of. It's very loose, and you can see people's mouths moving when you can't hear any dialogue. And it's pretty par for the course for like bad kung fu movies, and that's why that's such a trope / stereotype of kung fu movies. Is the dubbing is always fucking terrible, but. Like for all I know, they may not have recorded any on-sound dialogue, and this entire thing is dubbed.
Felt like it was ADR'd. Yeah.
Dubbed and done by sort of lazy Foley artists, or probably Foley artists that were under intense time constraints and were recording all this shit on like reel to reel. So like digital artists are so spoiled.
Here, and that one word is Corman. So we'll have them done cheap. right?
Yep, everything
Like,
is fast and cheap. That's how he cranked out like fucking 20 of these things a year, basically.
The skill of Roger Corman. You don't like you spent not a penny more than you actually physically need to get the movie out.
Well, that's why he did a ton of shit in the Philippines.
Yep.
Break Birdcage, all this shit.
Yeah, you get them all done. You make as much money as you can to make the next picture, and then you don't go back.
Yep.
So here's the question though, because I was thinking about this. This has titillation for sure, and there's no getting around that. It was like doing a bit of investigation. It was released in the UK, cut, where they took out all the nudity, specifically the nudity that involved like weapons. It's a big no-no for the BBFC in the UK. Was anything to do with knives and nipples? Ain't happening. Even if it doesn't stab a tit, they won't have it on the screen. But it was release cut here in cinemas, but yet still pulled afterwards. There's a couple of suspicions around that. One of them could have been the name Naked Fist. Doesn't lend itself to your average copper in a shop as a movie that isn't necessarily going to be slightly titillating and violent at the same time, and that's a no-no. But I mean, I was looking at this in its uncut version, and to me, there's nothing in this movie at all. It's like the violence is. It's sped up. Well, you mentioned it. Shaw Brothers. It's sped up Shaw Brothers action. You don't really see much in the way of proper full-on death. In the final scene, granted, yes, a guy's eyes are crushed with 2 sticks, but we don't linger on that shot for any great length of time, and it's no more horrific than anything else I've seen in movies, which clearly pass fine today. So I was surprised, and I expected it to have something in it, like a rape scene or something that which would have elevated it, but it's just not in there. What's your thoughts, Tony?
That's gotta be it. The sexualized violence. I know that they made the TMNT 1 or 2. I don't remember which one, where they had the 2 sausage links that Raphael was using like nunchucks, and they made them cut that. Part 2. So we know the BBFC has a huge issue with like throwing stars and nunchucks and shit like that.
Nunchucks were officially, I think they may still be banned as a thing in the UK. It's a huge no-no. So if I'm a betting man, that's where I'm going to put my money down. Is that it was the ninja weapons that got the movie in trouble? Yeah. I think you're right. It just feels like there's nothing else. That's what I was watching it. I was thinking, there's nothing else about this movie at all. Like, it's the most
warehouse guard
sex scene I've ever seen.
Yeah. There's the warehouse guard. He's got a little bit of blood. There's the eye gouging at the end, and then there's the sex scene, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's surprisingly tame, which brings me to final thoughts on this movie before I ask you for your grade. Mark, any final thoughts? Is this a movie you would watch again? Is this one for your... Right, guys, you are now on this journey with me through the Nasties, and I only picked the cream of the crop for you guys to sit through. Is Firecracker, aka Naked Fist, going to be one of those ones?
Yeah, absolutely. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. It's got a great synth score. It's a pretty rad kung fu movie. It's got, I think, just enough nasty stuff to maybe land it on like the softest of tier 3 lists, but you know, it carries that notoriety with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's full of boobs. So this was an easy watch, and yeah, it's like an hour and 17 minutes or something. So
that's including credits.
Including credits, which are also very short. But yeah, you can blast through this thing pretty quick. This is like a lazy Sunday kind of movie.
Final thoughts, Tony?
I unobjectively love this. Unabashedly, I fucking love this thing. So yeah, no, I go watch it. Go watch this fucker.
Yeah, I think like with a lot of these things, the greatest thing that could have ever happened to a movie like this is being on the tier 3 nasty list. It just
absolutely
instantly gives it a level of notoriety, which will mean that people will, even to this day, check out a movie like this on the off chance that it might have something which they've never seen before because it's on a banned list. Yeah, I thought this so much fun. We'll definitely watch again. Made me laugh and smile in ways which not a lot of movies do these days, so I was very happy. In terms of the grading over here, Tony, as you're very familiar with, we have a very bizarre way of grading movies over here. We do it from a censor's point of view of the time. We have 4 classifications. Hard time is given to those movies. To be honest, I don't think we've ever really done much in the way of anything this series on hard time, because they're not going to be. But that's for your I Spits on Your Graves, your Holocausts, those sort of ones. The next tier underneath hard time is a little bit of that community service. It's where you know you did something wrong. We all saw it. Now you're sorry about it, and you have to go and work it off. There's a little slap on the wrist for you're starting to play with those rules a little bit in a way, which we see what you're doing. And then there's the big old case dismissed, where there's nothing really here to merit it. I am coming in case dismissed. I think this
absolutely
one of the more harmless movies that we've watched in a while, Mark. In fact, I'm actually surprised at how harmless this movie is, even with the nudity. Tony, you said you agreed there, yeah?
Absolutely, case dismissed. There is nothing to this. If it's an R-rated or a 15, I'd be shocked.
Mark Ball, what's your grade for this one, buddy?
I'd probably go with the case dismissed. Really, like, the only scenes where this one gets like real into like even close to nasty kind of territory is like the weird sex scene with the knives, which feels a little bit rapey. And the warehouse scene, which also feels a little bit rapey. And we didn't mention the very Fulci-esque kill on the fucking the mounted bandsaw or whatever the hell that is, where the dude's face just goes like straight into it.
Yeah,
like that was pretty gnarly and kind of took me by surprise. Same with the security guard being like thrown back first onto like the blade of like a shovel or something that goes through him, and we get like a nice big blood splurt. But it's again, it's the 3M blood. It's pretty unrealistic, kind of like the eye gouge at the end, which lasts all of a fucking millisecond. But that's about it. The rest of this is pretty fucking tame, especially compared to a lot of these even just like shot in the Philippines or Taiwan or wherever the hell this was shot, kind of exploitation movies of the time. This is way, you could cut this down to like it's PG-13 pretty fucking easy, I think.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, we're going to put that one to bed, and then we're going to get to the moment I know Tony's been waiting for. And I'm going to say me as well, and I'm going to speak for Mark. I'm going to say we're all excited moving into this next review. And we're going to take a short break. You're going to hear people from the Video Nasties documentary talk about G.B.H. I cannot wait to hear who does the intro for this one. I literally don't have any clue on this one. Whoever it is has a lot of explaining to do, and I look forward to hearing it. You're also going to hear the trailer. When we return, it's time to talk about G.B.H. We'll be doing that, myself, Mark and Tony, right after this.
This is a copy of G.B.H. It's by a man called Cliff Twemlow, who I wrote a book about. Cliff was the Orson Welles of Salford, and this was his first foray into the home video market, and it remains a kind of cult classic to this very day because of its content, its exciting action sequences, and its very strange and very bizarre relationship to Manchester gangland culture. And as it says on here, the Long Good Friday set a new and exciting trend in British films. Following right on its heels is G.B.H. The Orson Welles of Salford, Cliff Twemlow, was a nightclub bouncer from about the age of 16, but he then got part-time work at Granada Studios as an extra in things like The Caesars and also a lot in the Bar of the Rover's Return in Coronation Street. And there he made friends with a variety of people in different jobs at Granada, like the Derek Hilton, the music producer, and Peter Adamson, who would later go on to his own kind of peculiar fame, and David Kent Watson, who was probably the best sound engineer at Granada, but who left there in 1969 to set up a recording studio in the centre of Manchester. Cliff would, through these people, discovered the wonderful world of theme music and jingles and whatnot. And because he couldn't write music or play an instrument, he used to go around with an early cassette player and hum into this. And he's supposed to have written something like 2,000 tunes and got a contract with De Wolf. So it was background music, jingles, and even songs. He put out suites of songs, well, one of which was used in Dawn of the Dead, I believe. And some of his stuff was recorded by the Pretty Things under a variety of names, some pure psychedelia. Another string to the Orson Welles of Salford's bow was that he decided to become a pulp fiction novelist. And he wrote, when he was hospitalised after a particularly severe beating, kind of bouncer's philosophy called Tuxedo Warrior. But just for that alone, he deserves to live forever, and it's a great title. And Tuxedo Warrior was optioned by an American film production company. And Cliff got £25,000 and a trip to Zimbabwe because he got a bit part in the movie. And it was there that he was turned on to the idea of making films. When Cliff gets back from Zimbabwe and figures, I'm going to make a movie, he writes the script straight away. And then he thinks, what am I going to do? So he goes to David Kent Watson, who by now has got a video production company called ICE. I think mainly they were doing weddings, but why not shoot a movie? So off they go with their one camera, and they basically write a manual that Rodriguez would be impressed by of guerrilla filmmaking. So Cliff would walk into a pub and say, the manager said it was all right for us to film this fight sequence. Now, the odds were that somebody would say, well, I'm the manager and I haven't given permission. So go, oh, sorry, I made a mistake, and you'll go. Or the person behind would say, oh, okay, all right then. And that's how they'd film the fight sequences in pubs. Car chases, they just block the road off and then film the car chases. Gunplay in what later became Gunchester. They walk round armed to the teeth with sawn-off shotguns, Webley revolvers, this, that and the other. John St. Ryan, who went on to Hollywood fame and fortune, it was the first movie that he'd ever been in because Cliff used to work out in a gym with him and said, we'll have you in a movie. He'd never acted. He then later on went to become Bette Lynch's boyfriend in Coronation Street and Sean Connery's stand-in in various Hollywood movies. So it gave a start to a whole lot of people. G.B.H. is set in a kind of mythical Mancunian gangland subculture. It's bloody, it's violent, it's populated by martial artists of the area, including people like Steve Powell, who was trained by Bruce Lee. G.B.H. was apparently a big hit with the troops on their way to fight in the Falklands. This is the very early days of domestic video, and it was World Video 2000, one of their biggest hits. And if you think back in those days, you could rent videos almost anywhere, newsagents, the corner shop, garages. They would buy a copy, and those copies were like up to £35, £40, which in those days was quite a bit of money. Then they'd rent them out. And it's supposed to have sold something like 6,000 copies in the first year. So for World of Video, it was a big hit. Cliff and David Kent Watson, who was his director then, realised that there was a fabulous potential market for VHS. And that essentially is how he spent the next 10 years, piggybacking the next production on the money coming in from the previous one. But the problem is that Cliff had a very cavalier attitude to royalties, and he would go to the Millionaire Club in Manchester, which was populated by fairly rich people, not Peter Stringfellow's club. And he would offer people a chance to be in the movie business. But he would often, like the producers, sell 120%. So now when you're trying to track who's got the rights to what, it's an extremely murky, strange and confusing business. Cliff made over 10 years 10 movies. G.B.H. 2, which was a return to G.B.H., which lasts twice as long because almost all of G.B.H. is done as a flashback in it, while the old crew reprise their former roles. So a man with a vision, and unfortunately a man whose vision was cut short by his untimely death, brought about by him not winning the Grandad Universe competition at Salford Tech. Cliff lied about his age. He always put 5 years on top of it. So when he came second, despite the fact that he wasn't old enough to be in the competition, he took to steroids in order to bodybuild. And unfortunately, it pumped his heart out. But Cliff is now an inspiration to a whole generation of filmmakers in the north of England, and his reputation spreading far and wide. So hopefully there will be a Cliff retrospective in the pipeline at some point in the not too distant future.
Keller's back. Took over the Rainbow Rooms last night. Tevis came in on the doorman, wiped the floor out.
When I say go, you'll cripple the bastard.
It's my club next, the zoo. If Keller wants something, he takes it.
I want that club, do you understand?
Nobody can stand up to Keller. There is one man who can stand up to him.
Oh yeah, who's that?
The Mancunian.
Hard type, huh?
Didn't know he was showing.
Now we're really gonna work out.
You don't look very tough to me.
Who do you expect? Charles Bronson?
You look old. Too old.
I'd see I'm too old. Nobody tells Big Nick Rafferty when he's had enough to drink. Didn't know this was a gay bar.
It isn't.
What about those two pups there then?
Welcome back, ladies and gents. So, you've just heard the trailer for G.B.H. Assuming there is a trailer. I'm going to assume there is one. If it isn't, I'm just going to find dialogue for the movie. I don't know. I don't know. What is the trailer? The trailer must just be someone going, Donovan, 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 which is said about 1 million times.
Donovan!
But do they not, like, I don't want to get too far ahead of it, but they refer to him by a nickname.
Oh, the Mancunian Man.
Yeah, the Mancunian Man, which I'm like, right, this is cool as fuck. And then that gets dropped about 3 minutes into the movie, and then they just Donovan after that. And I'm like, all right, he's just Donovan now. So anyway, this is directed by David Kent Watson. He has a double-barreled name, which means he's fancy. And it was written by Cliff Twemlow, who also stars as Donovan, who was a real-life bouncer. This has got shades of Mafia Massacre, honestly, ripping out it.
Oh, God, the backstory on this is so fascinating.
It's honestly. So he was a bouncer, and kind of moonlighted in the movie industry for a while. So he wrote this one, but he also stars in it as Steve Donovan. We have Jane Cunliffe, Anthony Schaefer, Brett Sinclair, Jerry Harris, Lenny Holworth, Steve Powell, John St. Ryan, who plays Big Nick Rafferty, who is, it's an ironic nickname because he's small. Ian Keith, Sharon Trimlow, who I would assume is related to Cliff.
Nepotism?
I'm assuming. She is the Zoo Disco Rosie. So, there we are. We have, that's not even a name, D. Chris Philosophus. Yeah. Dennis Edwards and some other folk in here. Let's not spend time on this. Synopsis for this one is, a bouncer is called in to help fight off a mob boss who's trying to take over local night clubs. Once again, that's probably accurate. I mean, it's to the point. And let's be honest, the movie really doesn't have anything else except that.
I have a hard time arguing against that.
Yeah, like there's no like massive subplot here where, you know, like he was trained by MK Ultra monkeys or anything like that. It is literally a bouncer is released from jail, is brought back to the life that I would imagine Her Majesty would want him not to go back to after coming out of prison, but he goes back to, and I know, Tony, you're champing at the bit for this one, but I'm going to give it to Mark first, right. And then Mark will swing to you, and then I will bring it in at the end with some things I just need to say. Mark, you sat down and watched G.B.H. You were excited about this one. I'm trying to remember, you'd heard of this as well as the hearing of this via Tony saying, if you guys cover this, I want to be on this? Or is this another one of these ones which has appeared in conversations at one of these film festivals you've been at?
No, I'd never heard of this before until we started doing this. And yeah, I remember talking to Tony about this a long time ago, and it was pretty close to what I expected. This is like a Guy Ritchie movie done via Tommy Wiseau. This is levels of incompetence that are honestly hard to find nowadays. This is it's like they knew how to make a movie, but there's definitely scenes that like are evidence to the contrary. Lots of weird screen direction where people are looking off into fucking nothing, and like don't appear. Lots of scenes where people don't appear to be in the same room when they're shooting with each other.
Yeah,
they're in entirely different universes.
Yeah, I love the fact that they didn't chop off the awkward pause where someone says action to converse with. So we have like someone says something, then we flip to the other view, and there's a guy like this. No, Steve. You're like, what? Like, chop it. Like, anyway.
Yeah, so this was also, and bless Tony for getting us a copy of this, because I don't know where the fuck else you could watch this thing exactly besides just pirating the shit out of this. But
there ain't no Shout Factory DVD of this.
No, this version we watched was a digital copy of probably a 5th or 6th generation VHS rip of this, which just added to the hallucinogenic aspect of this. Like, I really felt like I had the flu by the time this thing was over. It just
be honest, Mark, you got a full-on chump when some of that tracking started cutting through.
Like, well, yeah. No, that definitely sets the mood, and yeah, it's good to occasionally step away from the gorgeous 4K remasters that some of these companies do and just watch some. That's how this movie is probably intended to be seen. I almost don't want a cleaned up version of this.
Well, yeah, like I don't know if
it just adds the trashiness.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the UK we have pretty terrible teeth. You don't want to see them in high definition.
Man, this dude that plays Donovan looks like the love child of Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin if he was Australian. That's what he looks like. If he was roided out, especially, like, is this dude? He looks tall and imposing, but he's got that face. It's just like, you remind me of two people I hate.
I was thinking that he was kind of like if Charles Bronson played James Bond. That'd be this movie.
Well, they make a point of, like, that's the thing as well, which you should never do in movies, but they make a point as an interaction with characters where he says, who do you think I am? Charles Bronson, and I was like, that you're now making me think of Death Wish, which is a better movie than this. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
Charles Bronson's got fucking style too. Like,
he's got a face, Mark. He's got a face that doesn't really move.
Well, and I don't know. Maybe it's just I've seen Bronson in a few more movies, and he kind of, he does the same shtick in like pretty much everything he ever did, much like later day Bruce Willis. But
you should try and watch that movie, that slasher movie. What's it? Well, they called that a slasher. It's not a slasher. Was it Minutes to Midnight?
Oh, 10 Minutes to Midnight.
Yeah, 10 Minutes to Midnight, where the guy he's hunting is a serial killer who is naked, and there's a scene where Bronson is chasing them. Movie. Yeah, like there's a scene where Bronson is chasing them down a street, and this guy's just fully naked, and it's just like you can just see it in. This is like 1988, I think, and you can just see it in Bronson's face as if to say, "I need to get out of this contract." And it's like, I don't know how I ended up with this canon contract, but I need to get out of this fucking canon contract.
Yeah, but that Death Wish money, 5 money is like really good. So
he did what he had to do to pay the bills. He's Grandpa Bronson at that point. His grandkids need a lot of hard candy, so he's making all them Death Wish movies. But yeah, the dude that plays Donovan is like he can't act his way out of a wet paper bag. He's fucking atrocious in this, and I mean everybody kind of is. Like I didn't look at the credits or anything for this, and I kept trying to play which one of these people is the director. Like, it's got to be one of them. It's either the guy that plays Donovan or the guy that owns the bar. Like, I thought for a minute, maybe like this is his passion project. He sunk his fucking measly life savings into this awful fucking action movie, and this is how it turned out. Like, massively forgotten about, I'm sure. Like, this is probably gonna be a lot of people's like first introduction to this movie, is hearing us talk about it, I would think, because I've never heard anybody else outside of Tony talk about this movie. So yeah, it's I'm gonna hand it off to Tony, because I was just like dumbfounded by a lot of this movie. I was just like, what in the hell is this?
All right, let me be absolutely 100% crystal fucking clear.
He's getting his disclaimer out right at the start, Mark. His disclaimer's coming out right at the start. Love it.
This is a fucking terrible movie. I can't think of one thing they got right. The opening credits, the theme sounds like it's a dollar store version of like on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
Just everything, the acting, it's just so terrible. But again, it's entertaining as fuck. Oh my god! It's short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets in, drops the payload, and gets the fuck out. So yes, I just have so much fun with this movie.
It kind of blew my mind in a lot of respects. Like I watched There's some movies that I've been talking about recently as well. So I recently watched Science Crazed, which is an exercise in how does someone make a movie like that? And that movie came about a decade after this, and it's using all the same techniques. It's just like terrible editing, like bad acting, awful dialogue, and just like, to me, anyone that thinks that the idea that the mob would ever try and launder money through making a movie is a conspiracy theory needs to watch this. It's the only explanation is someone somewhere has a Ponzi scheme in which they are trying to like swindle people out of money, because this has, I mean, its story is about as basic as the description there. It really is a guy that owns a nightclub, and there's a mob boss who's going around strong arming all these other nightclubs. So he decides this bouncer who's just been released from prison, we're going to bring him back. When we're bringing him back, we'll tell him that his wife has left him and sold the house, and then we'll try and take him on a goose chase to try and find where his wife has moved to, which leads to nothing except a fight scene. And then he's brought in, and then all of a sudden he's like in charge of this nightclub again, but not as a bouncer. He's living up a bit of the high life, mixing with, you know, some of the clientele. He has, once again, one of the worst sex scenes I'd ever seen in my entire life, in a toilet where the girl, like, this is not how British people talk. No one says, "Oh Jesus Christ, oh God, yes, oh." And then he gets called a naughty boy later on by his friend who clearly wants to have sex with him.
Oh yeah.
Right, the homoeroticism in this movie is fucking ridiculous, right? And I don't know how Cliff doesn't realise this, because he wrote the movie. Unless that's the part. And once again, if that's the part, I'm kind of down with that. I think we said something similar about Mafia Massacre style. There's a something in the background there where you're kind of like, these characters in love, but they can't show their love. I don't know. But
yep.
They have a chase scene in a park where they kind of are 2 steps away from flicking tills at each other's arses, and then like he finds a new girlfriend, and this new girlfriend like loves him but doesn't love the lifestyle, but clearly doesn't give a fuck to go anywhere else, and then the movie goes on for about 50 minutes before it remembers that there's mob bosses trying to take over. And then it's like, shit, we need to do this. So the last 20 minutes of this movie is bringing the mob people back in again, in which we get about 4 or 5 protracted scenes of, right, well, now they're fighting, but you've bested me. Oh, but the boss isn't happy, so we better go back and fight him. Oh no, guess what? He's bested me. Now he's walked into the boss and said that his drink is as bad as his face or some shit like that. It was such a non-insult. It was such a non-insult. And then, well, oh, then there's a chase, and then there's a car chase, and then the thing that leveled the movie up for me, because I'll be honest with you, this movie isn't great, but the thing that leveled the movie up for me is the Mad Foxes thing all over again. The end of this movie is fucking amazing. Like, the last shot of this movie is fucking amazing, because he gets rid of the mob boss. I'm spoiling this for you for a movie from 1983. He gets rid of the mob boss, manages to quell the war. He's back at the restaurant where he's girdling his arm and he's sitting there, and then the police show up armed with shotguns, which didn't happen, right? Like, didn't happen, but the police come in to arrest him, and he sends his girlfriend away, and they're like, Donovan, you wait. Hands up from underneath the table, nice and slow. And he doesn't bring his hands up nice and slow, and we see the barrel of a shotgun fire, which means Donovan, the guy that we've been following, our hero of this movie, dies at the end of this movie, because and I didn't get the ending. I thought this feels a bit strange. Like, Mad Foxes made total sense because it was just fucking stupid. We've done all this yet, and of course that was the ultimate, the like revenge, you know, begets revenge, etc, etc. You know, that made sense. Did not make sense here. And then I remembered that we read a tagline on the previous episode, and the tagline for this one was that it was more violent than The Long Good Friday. Now, The Long Good Friday is, it's top 10 British films ever made, in my opinion. It's top 5 gangster movies ever made, in my opinion. And it's a fucking tour de force of Bob Hoskins, right? It's like one of those ones where you're watching it and go like that. Give him all the Oscars. This is like as good as it gets, right? And what happens at the end of that movie? At the end of that movie, our hero dies, right? Dies in a blaze of glory. And then I thought, they've just wholesale they've tried to outdo this, and then they've shoved the fucking tagline on the poster. And part of me respects the balls of that. Like, the balls of anyone to be like, this is the greatest gangster movie ever made. We're just going to use it as a tagline in our movie and not credit where it came from. Like, there's no credit for that one. It didn't come from Total Film or Empire Magazine or anything like that. It's just, it's more violent than... And it's not, by the way. Like, it's so clearly not even on the same level of violence of The Long Good Friday, but that's where it falls in. It's got terrible dialogue. It's a showpiece for obviously the central character, and like Tony said, and I'm going to hand it back to you now, Tony, but the score to this movie, and they credit a composer, is all over the fucking place. From scene to scene, it does not know what decade it's in, where we're actually at, what is actually
doing. A lot
doing.
of disco. Another one of these movies with extended disco dancing scenes.
Oh, dude, I
gotta pan that ragtime, man.
It was baffling. Like, I actually got to the end of it and was kind of galled at how... It's not even just, like, I always say I don't like criticising movies because I've never made a movie. I can tell you right now, and I think with a degree of confidence, and the only time I will ever say this, I could make a movie better than this. So...
Probably on, like, a weekend.
I think this
with an iPhone.
Shot on a weekend, dude. Honestly. Tony, help us here, please.
Okay, so you say that you admire the balls on Cliff Twemlow. I can't even say his goddamn name. I love the backstory on the production of the movie and the way this thing was made, because what Cliff would do and the director and the creative team would do is that they would, okay, we've got a scene in the bar. So they would go to a bar in Manchester and just kind of roll up to the bartender and say, hey man, we talked to the manager a couple of days ago and he said, it's great, we can shoot in here, no problem, where would you like to set up? And if the bartender said, I'm the manager and I never talked to you, get the fuck out of my bar. They'll say, oh, obviously I've got the wrong bar. I've got my notes wrong. I'm sorry. And they leave. if the bartender says, okay, fine, they just set up and fucking shot. So this is 100% planned guerrilla shooting.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, like when they were doing the car chase, what they did was they like, okay, we're just going to block off the road until somebody says don't block the road, and run cars up and down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, the balls on this movie are like 8 feet wide titanium.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take it. There's a thing about, like I said before, anyone that can get a movie made is, especially anyone that can get a movie made that appears on the Video Nasty list, gives me, and it's obvious why this one appeared on the Video Nasty list. I mean, that front cover alone, he's got a chopper, and he's covered in blood, and he's wearing a white suit, which is not a part of this movie at all. And so, it's like a kind of clever way of kind of luring eyes to think that they're getting something that they're not getting. But on top of that as well, it feels like an episode of like a TV show that you would have seen in the 80s, but like a really low budget one. That's the thing that I kept thinking the Sweeney constantly through my head, and the Sweeney's about cops in London. We went for the Sweeney. All right, Gov. It's all this stuff, but they're on the edge of kind of crossing the line and being criminals themselves. They play kind of footloose and fancy free with the law, and it kind of felt like someone had taken like someone had taken that as a concept and then made it like about bimsers and the mob, and then decided to shoot a whole film around it. And the dialogue is just all like this Cliff guy wrote the dialogue, and I just can't believe that anyone that was involved with this project was like that. Do you think this feels a bit unnatural? No, this is how we speak.
There were a couple of lines, like there's that one scene where Donovan comes into a bar and is like, and he's talking to the bartender. It's like, oh, I didn't know this was a gay bar.
Yeah.
The bartender's like, no, it's not. Well, what about them two poofs then? And a fight ensues. I'm like, I don't know. I just love fucking dialogue like that. It's just amazing.
Yeah. It's very of its era. It's very, very, very of its era. I think the thing, like, ultimately, where I come down on this movie is that as a novelty factor, I'm glad I've seen it because it's definitely on the list. Like there were sections of this one that had me tears streaming out my eyes, hands on the ribs, feeling like I was going to piss myself. That funny when I was just like, this is horrific. And then there was other scenes where I was like, I have not a clue where this is going, why we're... Because like I say, for 50 minutes of this runtime, we really are just spending time with Donovan trying to...
Yeah, like piece his life together or something.
Yeah, piece his life together. Like, I'm like your job here is to stop the bad guys. Remember the bad guys? And it was almost as if the movie heard me say, remember the bad guys? And then we turned to their evil lair. And the guy's like that, why have we not taken out this guy yet? And I was like, I was asking the same question, Little Nicky. And Little Nicky's like that, go and get him, guys. And they're like, let's go and get him, guys. And it was just... I was baffled. It's not often that I'm left speechless at the end of a movie. But like we talked about Mafia Massacre Style as being a movie where... And there's a similar kind... It feels like this is the British equivalent of that movie, but all it's done is made me appreciate Mafia Massacre Style so much more for what that movie crafted.
It is essentially, well, when we did the top 10 best nasty episode, I cheated and I picked two for my top number one, and it was G.B.H. and Massacre Mafia Style, just because they were essentially the same goddamn movie.
It's the same concept. It's just that concept has been taken to like interesting things like the Mafia in America. Another one has been taken to the London nightclub and bimsers, and like that's how tame the UK is in comparison, which is frustrating because, like I say, have you ever seen The Long Good Friday, Mark?
I have not,
dude. Honestly, fucking chef's kiss is that good. It's like it will blow you. There's a part of you that'll think to yourself, like, there's a part of you at the age that you're at that you'll remember Bob Hoskins for like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right?
Yep.
Being that kind of lovable, kind of like that. You watch the Long Good Friday. He's a fucking mobster in that one, and he is absolutely fucking ruthless, like terrifyingly ruthless in that one. And it's basically set over a weekend. You've seen the premise before in other movies. It's set over the weekend of him trying to make a big deal happen, and if he doesn't get the big deal, it's like Training Day. Essentially, if he doesn't get the thing to happen in time, they'll put a hit out on him.
Right.
And so it's frantic. It's got Helen Mirren in it as well, a very young and fucking stunning Helen Mirren who plays his better half.
It's streaming on HBO. I will definitely check that out.
Get it watched. You know what it is? It's a Friday night, couple of whiskeys, couple of ice cubes in there. You know, you in the room yourself, you and your cat, blinds closed. This is cinema time. Volume full up. Maybe a fedora. Fedora's optional. All you wear is the fedora, though. It's just the fedora and the cat. And that's that right there. That is what we call a fucking party, sir. That's what we call a party.
Nice.
Final thoughts on G.B.H. I know I'm going to hand it back to Tony here, and Tony's just going to say, it's the best thing ever, Duncan, and you shut up, you ignorant slut. Tony, final thoughts on G.B.H.
It is the best thing ever, and Duncan, you're an ignorant slut. No, I mean, honestly, this, we will unfortunately probably never see this movie get released on like Blu-ray or DVD, and that's a damn shame. One of the great joys of the Video Nasty Project and like here is that bringing movies like this to a wider audience. Really, just watch this, enjoy it, let the terrible wash over you, and enjoy your Tommy Wiseau-ness.
Nice. Smart Ball, final thoughts on G.B.H.
Yeah, if you're a connoisseur of bad cinema, you absolutely need to see this. If you're like a film snob where like bad filmmaking is just like nails on a chalkboard, then this is going to give you fucking brain cancer. Which I have a tendency to be a little bit of both, but I lean more towards I love trashy, awful, bad cinema, and this is right up there with stuff like Getaven or fucking Neil Breen or Tommy Wiseau or this is probably not talked about nearly enough amongst the circles of people that know any of those things or are familiar with them, and it probably should be, because this is one of the weirdest, most badly made movies I think we've watched for this season of the show, and I kind of love it for that. It's fucking wild.
You still have Wrong Way to go. Watch that and come back to me.
Oh boy.
I keep telling you, Mark, never make blanket statements until the season's finished.
Yeah, now I'm worried.
And a lot. I'm glad. Like I say, I'm glad I've seen it. I will probably never watch this one again. It did make me laugh, and it's an exercise, I think, in someone who, with the best of intentions, went in to make something that I think they thought was going to be interesting and like entertaining and all the rest. And he landed the entertaining part, but everything else kind of fell away. Had the movie like leaned just in the character study of the Donovan character like a lot more, it would be a better movie. I don't know if it would be more entertaining. And if it had leaned less into that and given me more of the violence and stuff, that wasn't handled all that great, and it probably would have pushed it down for me as well. So weirdly, it found the balance of entertainment and pure fucking cringe. And that's where G.B.H. sits. Let's talk grades for this one. I am so curious about this. Tony, with our grading system, where are you coming in with G.B.H.?
Oh, God. I almost want to give it the slap on the wrist. I mean, there is nothing to this at all. I mean, the guy gets knifed in the balls with a broken bottle, but that's not really graphic. There's the guy gets stabbed in the hand. I mean, there's nothing to this. So the only reason I think this wound up on the list was that, the blue collarness of it just makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I think, like, to me, like, look at, I think it's that cover art, man. I think the cover, the cover art, he's wielding, I think it's a hatchet and he's all bloody, and that's literally all it took Like Driller Killer, unfortunately, with having one of the greatest covers of all time, basically gave the enforcers a blueprint of what to look out for. It was an easy mark, and I think that's its greatest weapon. And to get people to watch it is also the reason that most likely ended up on that list. Yeah, I'm gonna go case dismissed once again. I'm with you on this one. I think there are scenes of violence, but they're not gratuitous. You don't actually see anything there at all. Language-wise, it's actually surprisingly prim and proper. There's only one character that really swears, and that's the mob gangster. And whenever he does it, it sounds like it's a foreign word to him. Every time he says fuck, it sounds like it's the first time he's ever said the word fuck. And yeah, there's nothing in this movie that is barely a movie. It's like there's nothing in this movie where I'm like that. You know what I mean? So for me, once again, I'm saying slap on the. Well, I'm saying case dismissed. I wouldn't even slap it on the wrist. Smart ball.
Same. I'm going case dismissed. This is like more tame than Firecracker. Like I know the violence of Firecracker is a little gnarlier than this one. And the fight choreography in this is fucking hilarious. This dude went to the Adam West / William Shatner school of fight choreography, and it's adorable in how laughable and unbelievable it is. Yeah,
the funny thing is, the really crazy thing is, Steve Powell, if I've got my notes correctly, he was trained by Bruce fucking Lee.
What? No way.
What?
Now, take it, with a grain of salt because the information comes from the internet. But Steve Powell, from what I understand, was actually.
Are you sure you're not confused with Bruce Lee, who I think was in the Firecracker movie? His Bruce Lee's post-death contemporary.
We got ourselves a Bruce exploitation. Thanks very much. No, I maybe.
Yeah, really, like the only other thing I could figure is maybe the title itself of this movie is why it got in a little trouble with the video nasty list. I mean, possibly. It's basically like commanding you to commit a crime with its fucking name.
Well, like I say, that is a crime. G.B.H. it's a criminal offence, something you would be taken to court, and like if a police officer could arrest you for G.B.H.
It'd be like if you called your movie arson or something, or embezzlement.
Oh man, well, ladies and gents, that is us swung through it. You made it. Don't you feel so much better about yourself now? We, ladies and gents, are going to take a very short break. When we return, we'll be saying bye to Tony, but I will be telling Mark about where we're going next. Mark, you're going to be so happy. So fucking happy. So happy.
Am I? I guess we'll see.
One of them you definitely will be. I don't think the other one is necessary. Well, I don't know. Depends how horny you are.
Very always.
Right, we're going to be right back to close the show after this.
This is a test of the emergency podcasting system. Listen to the Psychosemantic Podcast. Politics, movies, and political movies. Find us on Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, legionpodcasts.com. The Psychosemantic Podcast.
And you've been listening to Doing the Nasty. This has been Season 2, Episode 26. On this episode, we looked at Naked Fist, aka Firecracker, and G.B.H. In 1 month's time, we will be sitting down and continuing our journey on the first one. Bonafide classic Mark Ball.
Okay.
The real fucking deal, right? As legit as it gets. Too legit to fucking quit. Myself, yourself, we'll be sitting down with a little movie directed by Sean S. Cunningham from 1980. We're doing Friday the 13th.
Oh, nice. The OG. I haven't watched it in quite a while, so I'm curious to revisit it. I bet it's going to feel super tame compared to some of the other shit we've watched for the show.
Well, we're bringing it together. Coming full circle with how to it's the Adventures of Snow White, Mark. It's the Adventures of Snow White.
Oh, okay. I have heard of this. I think this is talked about in the Golden Turkey Awards, the OG fucking bad movie book, and this has got a little bit of notoriety to it, and we might have to go to some weird erotica website to watch this one.
I got a copy. I'll hook you guys up.
Thank you very much.
My computer thanks you too for not giving it STDs from some website.
My favorite factoid about this movie was it was made in 1969. Mark, you see what we did there? See what we did there? So it's a West German sex comedy. I know nothing about this movie.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Tony,
may I say,
yes?
Since I'm not going to be on next month, okay, here's my quick review. It's basically about as racy as Benny Hill.
I love Benny Hill, so I'm so down with that.
Yes, it's pornography. Yes, it's two guys wandering around the German woods, fucking things. So that's why it's on the list. But no, it's utterly harmless. But it's fun. I love that.
All I heard and what you just said there is, Duncan, you will need a lot of lotion and Kleenex, and I'm up to that challenge. Is what I'm saying.
You'll need the whiskey. You'll need the maybe a little bit of the, I don't know if you can get the cannabis over there, but a little bit of that, and some lotion.
Some lotion. Fedora's optional. I'll wait to borrow Mark's cat. But yeah, I'm down to clear that. So yeah, the next episode, it will be the new adventures of Snow White and Friday the 13th. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, my friend. I want to say before we finish up, which is next May,
right?
We'll get you back.
Oh, I will. I love doing this. Let's absolutely figure out a time and get me back.
We will get you back, but this time, Mark will pick the episode. That's right.
Oh no! Oh man! Oh boy! I'm gonna take a look, see what we got left, and
he's gonna make me watch fucking Wrong Way. I bet.
Well,
I don't know anything about it, so that's like
you put it out in the universe. It's gonna happen. Before you go, just remind us one more time where people can check out your stuff online.
Let's see. Well, assuming that YouTube hasn't struck my channel down again, go look for the Video Nasty Project, or just search for like the did I say video? What the fuck am I saying? I'll try this again. Take two, please. Psycho Toaster Productions or the Video Nasty Project should find an episode, and then from there you can just get the rest of it.
Perfect. Mark Ball, where can people check out your stuff, buddy?
Find me angry on Twitter at the Fancy Mark. Probably by the time the next episode will be out, I'll have a Bandcamp set up because I have music that's on SoundCloud from several SoundCloud accounts ago that I fucking just completely lost. And SoundCloud's a fucking terrible platform nowadays anyway. So I'm trying to migrate that shit over to Bandcamp, but I haven't got around to that yet. So you'll be able to check out some of my music. I'm sure the name Fancy Mark has probably already been taken at least once, maybe multiple times by people out there, but it will be something along those lines. So we'll have more on that on next month's episode.
Phenomenal. Oh, well, ladies and gents, please check out the other shows on the TPUTS Collective. We have Where to Begin With, which is currently looking at film noir and neo-noir movies. I picked 10 movies throughout this year that I think will round out and give you an appreciation or our best starting point to get into that subgenre. That first episode dropped looking at Roman Polanski's Chinatown, bona fide classic. And on episode number 2, we'll be talking a little bit Hitchcock with Strangers on a Train, which I'm very much looking forward to getting into as well. And you can submit reviews into that each episode, so do that. Shows are all in this one here. Opera Omnia will be making its return real soon, just under a month, with a new director and a new resident guest host for a much shorter season. We're going shorter before we go into our next deep dive. And there's Chronicle, which has opened its doors to reviewers the world over, where reviewers are now bringing me their European horror movie they always wanted to discuss on the show, and we are recording that for you. The brand new episode dropped for that this week. It was myself and the big sexy Scott McKenzie sitting down talking about Dario Argento's spiritual sequel to Suspiria in 1980's Inferno. A movie which he had never seen before, which he's now seen, and I realised that the only way to get Scott to like movie that he doesn't understand the plot of is to have Argento style lighting all the way through it, and he's putty in the hands. Until the next time we speak to you, though, please take care of yourselves out there. We'll be back in 1 month's time with the new adventures of Snow White and Friday the 13th. This is Duncan McLeish and the crew et al. For Video Nasty Podcast, doing the nasty. And we'll speak to you next time. Bye.
Good night, bitches.
Goodbye.
They were called Nasties, and they were nasty.
Some of the things that we've seen are so horrific.
These films not only affect young people, but I believe they affect adults as well.
An extravaganza of gory violence capable of depraving and corrupting those who watched it.
I have never seen a video nasty. I wouldn't. I actually don't need to see what I know is in that film.